Hey guys, it's Will. Hopefully you're having a great day today. In this video, AMTM is the one we're looking at. I just realized that we were getting kind of busy for our coffee investor break today. So I think we're going to have our coffee investor break day a little bit later today, probably around 1:30 p.m. I'm trying to do them every Thursday and give full classes on the step-by-step process for finding profitable markets in the stock market. So different markets exist and we're going to be covering them today. I think it's going to be about 1:30 Pacific time after this. And we also got the earnings call for Cooler. So maybe we do that and then we do the coffee break. It turns into maybe an evening tea towards maybe 4 p.m. or something like that. Actually, it might be a little later. A lot of you guys were saying you wanted to see earnings calls covered more often. So we'll do that. But anyway, jumping into AMTM stock. We're going to head over to our watch list here. And I think we're going to go over to Space Tech, actually. AMTM was a stock we just started trading here this morning. And we just entered this position. And it's kind of funny because, we covered it yesterday. And we were saying, it's such a new stock. It just IPO'd. This is literally, all the history that we have on it goes back to here. And so they recently sold down and it was looking like, there you go. There's all the history. It shot up to $35. It sold down to 16. It was starting to push up here. And then I was saying, hey, maybe we start to see this trend start to develop. And it hasn't been, perfect, but it's this hyper bullish trend where it just broke up above the 200-day moving average. We're saying maybe it, does start to, actually push up more back into those $30 ranges because the stock is quite impressive. So we ended up buying this morning, and that position, I believe, was just about $2,000 position. It's up to about $50 profits so far. And if this trade goes well, it would be up into this range here, which would be here. It would be about a $300 to $400 trade if this swing works out over the next few days. And that's what we're looking at for AMTM. So with this swing, part of why we're trading it, there's three reasons we're looking at. The first reason is that they're really into the tech space, the cybersecurity space, the space industry, and they are one of the top contracted companies in the US, and they're growing still with billions of dollars in revenue, but only, a $5 billion market cap. Why is that important? Well, I could be wrong sometimes for sure. And maybe, this is just out there. But as my returns have been pretty good recently and the past few years, I feel that this is an indicator that to me makes a lot of sense. And this is usually how I invest, and it seems to be working. Market cap, $5 billion. So again, three things. The market's growing, but then we get into the analysis. This is the financials. So this is step number 2. A of step number 2 is financials. $5 billion market cap. But look at their quarterly revenue. Their quarterly revenue is $2 billion, 3.4 billion, and then recently reported $3.5 billion. And their revenue is up 70%. Their net income's up 109%. And in my eyes, I see this market cap of just $5 billion to be undervalued. I feel like a company that's bringing in $3.5 billion in revenue per quarter should have some market cap that would be maybe at least 2 times their quarterly revenue. And look, that's just the way I'm kind of looking at it. But on top of that, you got green, you got improvement in their financials. So intrinsically, they're looking good. Their profit margins are positive and they're up about 100% year over year. So that's the financials. They're looking fairly good. And then you got the A in step number 2, which is the news. So AMTM stock, if you look at the news on Yahoo or maybe, I don't know, on Motley Fool or something, there's a lot of hype. It's a risky, but over here they say this could be the next big thing. So we're not going to look at that. But if you look at, let's say, Amentum directly to their sites, and we go directly to their sites, you could find some really good articles. They recently closed in the hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts. You got 360 million there, and then let's see, energy and environment. So committed to advancing energy incentives initiatives. Amentum delivers advanced solutions to support national security, which we've seen. Defense and aerospace. You got civilian, focusing on delivering high quality technical and operational support to federal agencies and commercial clients. So mainly servicing the government and their newly publicly traded company. And so when we look into the news of what they've been reporting, I was just quite impressed with some of their expansion into the different markets. They got thousands of employees, I think around 50,000. And then the news that they're coming out with consistently is there's a $100 million contract, $360 million. We got to go to the Space Symposium and see this company firsthand when we went to go see Redwire and Rocket Lab. And I have the pass right here. It's a SpaceX sponsored event. I got a media pass for free. Thanks so much for all the subscribers. Appreciate you guys. And what happened? They keep signing these $250 million contracts. They got a nuclear energy security contract, $71 million here. I mean, I think that they're just crushing it. I don't know. I see the NASA contracts, and the numbers on these contracts are big. 105 million here. And a lot of them are very, very legit. Like, they're big problems. We're like, well, that kind of makes sense. So the news, without diving super deep at the moment, it looks pretty good with the types of contracts they're getting. So then that brings us to C of part 2 of our analysis, which is the chart. Now, there's a couple ways to look at it. It's, again, kind of two things working in our favor that I kind of saw is that you have the IPO here, and then you have this trend down, right, from the IPO. Do you guys see that trend kind of down with the exception of that spike at the IPO? And then you have this support level potentially here where this trend was kind of going down. This is an IPO, right? Right from the start in October. But then recently they broke out of it. And that's when it actually started getting our attention. And one of our members and stockmates brought this to my attention in our daily live sessions in the morning. And he said, hey, have you seen this stock? And can you do analysis? And we all did analysis. And we were all very impressed with the overall probabilities of this company going up. And on top of that, the daily live sessions, if you guys ever want to be there, second link in the description to join Stockmate. Would love to see you at our Market Open Lives. And then we have this breakout, and now I'm saying this is maybe the trend. So we ended up buying right here and saying, let's see if this is the support, and if that is a trend that's breaking out, because that would be a great trade. So we entered it. Looks like we're up about 2% so far, or a little bit more than that, and that's how it's going so far. So AMTM, the charts again broke out above the 200-day moving average and holding above the 200-day moving average. Not looking overextended, oversold, or anything like that. It's quite neutral at the moment, but we're kind of identifying this level here and saying, hey, maybe this is a level at which it will continue up. And you could also actually find a support here. See this support? Some consolidation, maybe a support, resistance right there, and now maybe acting as a support as well at that $20.50 price point. So it's above that quite a bit. But I do see this as a one we're gonna monitor closely, and it's exciting to see some of the moves that are happening with the stock. And I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. Step number 3 in our analysis is the profit margins, the margin for profit. So essentially the plan with trading this, if this makes sense, which in all the probabilities we looked at, to me, it makes a whole lot of sense. We're looking at a support level here around $20 or $20.50 as we just kind of mapped out there. And so that would be kind of where our stop loss is. That's actually where our entry was. So we'd have a stop loss probably around $20 or maybe a little less, maybe 20. Yeah, down $20 there. That would kind of break the pattern. And then the margin for profit. We entered here. We're kind of looking for a swing that would be a little more aggressive, but something that might be reacting to what could be this overcorrection down after the IPO the last few months. At least that's how I see it. And then that would be a 17% increase So that's kind of the trade we're looking at. And again, potentially $500 trade plus if that plays out that way. Might take some time, might not all happen at once, and it might not happen at all if it breaks below. But all we know now is we can just execute our plan, and buying near a support with all those probabilities, to me, gives us a good chance to continue the profits. We might even lock in the $50 now, or not lock it in, but just set a trailing stop loss so that we know we have those profits, and we'll go from there. So again, AMTM, that's one we'll focus on more. Let me know your guys' thoughts down below. And again, later this afternoon, I'm excited to do a I did this when we were in, where was I? I was in Denver when we were at an event, I think, and then we also did this when I was in Albuquerque when I was traveling, and in when I recently went to Miami. But we do these sit downs and we go through some of the strategies, some of the step-by-step analysis, but also markets analysis that can turn your smaller investments into huge investments. So the type of investments that are your 10x investments, the rocket labs that we find at $3 a share and now they're at 22, or the Big Bear AIs that we find $1 and they go up to 10.50 at one point, or in this case, AMTM, we're making a trade here. But whether it's space tech, it could be quantum computing, which we have traded a lot as well. And all of those stocks have essentially 10x since we started covering them back in October. And I'm not saying this and that you will get 10x returns, but I am saying, because I can't say that, the government's pretty clear. Can't say you're going to, but I can tell you guys that this is what's working for me, and I would love to share it with you in our afternoon session. So make sure to check out. It's a live session. We'll be doing it. Full breakdown of our virtual stock trading system. So thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all. Fire your thumbs up, hit the like button. If you ever want to join us live in the daily live sessions, second link below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.